The sound of claws scraping against the plaster wall jolted Ben from his thoughts. Each night, as the clock ticked past 11, his cat, Whiskers, dug into that same corner of the old living room as if it held some secret only he could sense. The noise echoed softly, a rhythmic scratching that broke the stillness of the unassuming Toledo night. The house felt heavy with memories, settled like dust in the corners. The faint hum of the radio on the kitchen counter played softly, a companion to the quiet, filling the air with the comforting voice of a late-night DJ sharing stories and old tunes. Ben wiped his brow, the day's labor still lingering in his muscles, and turned his attention to the persistent sound behind him. He could have easily brushed it off as nothing more than a quirk of a curious cat, but something about Whiskers' determination piqued his curiosity. A niggling thought crept into his mind. What was hidden behind that wall? The question hung in the air, tantalizing and unsettling. Ben leaned back in his worn-out recliner, the fabric soft and familiar against his skin. The clock ticked steadily on the mantel, marking time as the world outside remained hushed. He glanced at the framed photographs lining the walls, smiling faces, moments captured in time, all of them rooting him to this place. But the wall with its worn plaster and faded paint felt different. It seemed to whisper secrets he was yet to uncover. "Whiskers," he muttered, half amused and half intrigued. "What are you after?" The cat paused, looking up at him with bright green eyes, then resumed his scratching with renewed vigor. Ben chuckled softly, shaking his head. "You're a strange one, you know that?" As the minutes slipped by, the sound continued, each scratch echoing in the stillness. The rhythmic tapping of Whiskers' claws began to play a tune in Ben's mind, a melody built from the very silence that enveloped him. He felt a pull, a gentle nudge to rise from his seat, to investigate the mystery that lay behind the wall. The flickering light from the lamp cast long shadows dancing against the wooden floorboards. With each passing moment, the allure of the unknown grew stronger. Ben's heart raced with the thrill of discovery, the same excitement he had felt in childhood when digging for buried treasure in the backyard. What answer could lie behind that wall, hidden from sight for so long? He could almost feel the weight of history pressing down on him, urging him to take action. Finally, he rose, the creaking of the floorboard beneath his feet mixing with the sound of Whiskers' relentless scratching, as if the house itself was urging him forward. "Tonight," he thought, "I will find out what you're so interested in." With a deep breath of determination, he set his sights on the corner, ready to uncover whatever secrets had lain dormant for years. Ben stood in front of the wall, his heart pounding in anticipation, the sound of Whiskers' scratching still echoing in his ears. The dim light from the lamp cast a warm glow across the living room, illuminating the dust motes that danced in the air. He took a moment to gather himself, inhaling the familiar scents of aged wood and the faint trace of old books, remnants of a life lived in this modest home. Toledo, Ohio, was a small city, a quiet place where everyone knew each other, and the pace of life had a rhythm all its own. Ben had lived here for over a decade, raising his family in a house that had seen better days but held the warmth of countless memories. The wallpaper was peeling in places and the floorboards creaked, but it was home, filled with the laughter of his wife, Linda, and their two children, Sarah and Jake. He glanced around the room, filled with the remnants of their lives. The couch, a faded plaid, had been a witness to movie nights and family arguments. Pictures adorned the walls, snapshots of milestones, birthdays, graduations, neighborhood barbecues. Each frame contained a story, a piece of their shared history. Ben felt a swell of pride as he thought of the life they built together, despite the small struggles and the occasional twinge of regret that haunted him. Whiskers paused again, his green eyes locked onto Ben, as if urging him to make a decision. With a nod, Ben crouched before the wall, examining the area where the cat was so fixated. He could see the outline of where the plaster had settled unevenly, as if something lay just beneath the surface. He fetched a trowel from the shed outside, its handle worn smooth from years of use. As he returned to the living room, he could hear the faint sounds of Linda and the kids in the kitchen, preparing dinner. The smell of baked chicken and rosemary wafted through the air, grounding him in the present even as his mind wandered to what lay behind the wall. Taking a deep breath, he positioned himself against the plaster, the trowel steady in his hand. With careful precision, he began to chip away at the surface, the soft thud of the metal against the wall echoing in the otherwise silent room. Each strike sent a small cloud of dust into the air, and he felt the familiar itch in his throat. After several minutes of patient work, a small section of plaster crumbled away, revealing a dark space behind it. He paused, wiping the sweat from his brow, and blew gently at the dust, watching as it settled. His heart raced. What could possibly be hidden in this little nook? Peering inside, he spotted a polished wooden metronome, gleaming even in the dim light. It seemed out of place, an object filled with purpose yet shrouded in mystery. Next to it lay a folded piece of sheet music, the title written in delicate cursive, "For Those Who Live Here After Us." A cassette tape sat beside it, the label worn but legible. Ben's mind raced as he gently retrieved the items, careful not to damage anything. The metronome felt solid in his hands, its rhythmic ticking quiet yet somehow profound. He could imagine it once being used, setting the tempo for children's music lessons, filling the house with melodies long forgotten. He called out to his family, the excitement in his voice breaking through the evening routine. "Hey everyone, come here, you've got to see this." Linda appeared first, her brow furrowed in curiosity, followed closely by Sarah and Jake, who were always eager for a new adventure. The kids crowded around Ben, their eyes wide with anticipation as he held up the metronome and the sheet music. "What did you find, Dad?" Sarah asked, her youthful enthusiasm infectious. "Something I think belonged to the people who lived here before us," Ben replied, excitement bubbling in his chest as he unfolded the sheet music carefully. "Look at this." As he spread the paper across the table, the familiar scent of aged paper filled the air, nostalgic and inviting. Linda leaned in closer, her eyes scanning the elegant handwriting. "For those who live here after us," she read aloud, her voice soft. "That's beautiful. Sounds like they wanted to leave a message." Ben nodded, his thoughts racing. "Let's listen to the tape." He found the old cassette player in the corner, a relic from their early days together, and plugged it in. The machine whirred to life with a crackle, the tape sliding into place as he pressed play. The voice that crackled to life was warm and inviting, a man recounting his days of teaching music to the neighborhood children. His tone was filled with nostalgia, and Ben felt the weight of his words resonate within him. "I remember the first time I picked up a metronome," the voice said, a smile detectable even through the static. "It was like discovering a heartbeat, a pulse that guided my students as they learned to express themselves through music. Life has its own rhythm, you see. We may not always notice it, but it's there, steady and unwavering." Ben's heart swelled. It was a connection to a history he never knew, a glimpse into the lives of those who had shaped the space he now called home. The family's attention was wrapped around the tape player, the flickering light casting shadows on their faces as the man continued. "I hope that whoever finds this remembers to embrace the tempo of their days. Sometimes we rush through life, forgetting to pause and listen. Music can teach us patience to savor each note as it comes. And for those who live here after us, may you find joy in every measure." As the tape came to an end, Ben found himself gripping the metronome, feeling its weight in his hands. It was a simple object, yet it held the essence of lives intertwined, memories, hopes, and the passage of time. "Wow, that was amazing," Jake said, his eyes shining with wonder. "Do you think they're still out there?" Ben smiled, ruffling his son's hair. "Maybe. But I think they've left something more important behind." He looked at his family, their faces illuminated by the dim light, and understood that the discovery was not just about the metronome or the tape. It was about the connection they now shared with the past. "Can we keep it?" Sarah asked, her voice filled with hope. "Can we hang it up somewhere?" "Of course," Ben replied, feeling a warmth spread through him. It's a part of our story now. As he placed the metronome back on the table, he felt a sense of responsibility wash over him. This wasn't just a forgotten relic. It was a reminder of the lives that had intertwined with his own. The metronome represented the idea that life was a melody made up of both joy and sorrow, moments of harmony and dissonance. Ben's thoughts drifted to the long days he spent working at the factory, the hum of machines filling his ears, the rhythm of his life dictated by the clock. He often found himself coming home exhausted, barely finding the energy for family dinners or guitar practice. The metronome's lesson echoed in his heart. Life's tempo was not just about the work. It was about the moments shared with those he loved. Maybe we can even play something together, Linda suggested, her eyes sparkling with inspiration. We could use the metronome as a guide, just like the man said. Ben's heart lightened at the thought. What do you think, kids? Do you want to make some music? Yes! They both shouted in unison, their excitement infectious. The family moved to the living room floor, gathering around a pile of instruments they hadn't touched in what felt like ages. Jake had a small keyboard, Sarah played the flute, and Ben grabbed his old guitar, its strings slightly rusty from disuse. Linda found a pair of tambourines, and soon the room was buzzing with the energy of their shared enthusiasm. As they started to play, Ben gently set the metronome in front of them, its tick-tock filling the air, steady and reassuring. He strummed his guitar softly, syncing his rhythm to the metronome's pulse. The kids followed suit, their youthful spirits shining through as they filled the room with sound. The music wove around them, connecting their hearts and reminding them of the joy that often got lost in the busyness of life. For the next hour, laughter and music filled the old living room. They experimented, creating a melody that wove in and out like the threads of their lives, sometimes harmonious, sometimes a little offbeat, but always beautiful in its own way. In those moments, Ben felt a shift within himself. The worries about work, bills, and the day-to-day struggles faded into the background. Here, with his family, he found a rhythm that reminded him of why he worked so hard, so they could share moments like this. As they wrapped up their impromptu concert, Ben looked around at his family, their faces flushed with joy, and felt a deep sense of contentment. The metronome had done more than uncover a hidden history. It had brought them closer together, bridging the gap between the past and the present. But as the night wore on, a thought nagged at him. Could he seal the niche back up and maintain the status quo? Or should he leave it open, allowing the reminder of life's tempo to linger in their home? The decision weighed heavy on his heart. Later that evening, after the kids had gone to bed, Ben found himself staring at the niche where he had uncovered the metronome. The wall, with its fresh hole and dust, seemed to pulse with energy. He could almost hear the echoes of the voice from the tape, reminding him again of the importance of life's rhythm. Sitting on the couch next to Linda, he shared his thoughts. I'm torn about what to do with the niche, he admitted. It feels like a part of me wants to close it up again to preserve what we've found, but another part says it needs to stay open. Linda placed her hand on his. That's understandable. It's a big decision. But maybe it's about more than just the niche. It's about what we want our home to represent. Ben nodded, considering her words. Their home had always been a sanctuary, a place filled with love and laughter. But now, it was also a vessel for stories, a bridge to those who had come before them. I think leaving it open invites the past into our present, he said slowly. It reminds us that we're part of something larger, that our lives are woven into the fabric of this place. Linda smiled, her eyes reflecting understanding. And it can be a reminder for our kids too. They'll learn the importance of remembering where we came from while building their own futures. Ben smiled at her insightful words. You're right. It's about honoring the past while embracing what's to come. As the night deepened, he made his decision. The niche would remain open, a testament to the lives that had come before, a reminder of the rhythm that connected them all. With a sense of peace settling over him, Ben felt the house breathe differently now, as if awakened from a long slumber, ready to share its story with those who chose to listen. And in that moment, he understood. Every heartbeat, every tick of the metronome, echoed not just through time but through the shared experiences of those who had lived, loved, and learned in this very space. As he prepared for bed, he took one last look at the metronome, its polished wood gleaming under the soft light. He felt gratitude swell in his chest, a gratitude for the past, for the present, and for the future that awaited him and his family. As the weeks turned into months, the rhythm of Ben's life began to evolve in ways he never anticipated. The metronome, with its steady tick-tock, had become a symbol of their family's journey, a reminder of the importance of staying connected, of valuing the moments that mattered. It was no longer just an object hidden away in a wall. It had transformed into a cherished heirloom, a cornerstone of family gatherings and shared memories. Every month the family hosted their music nights, inviting friends and neighbors to join in the spirit of community. They would gather in the living room where the walls buzzed with laughter and music. Ben had begun to play his guitar more often, rekindling a passion that had lain dormant for years. Linda took up the tambourine, while Sarah would switch between her flute and her newfound interest in the ukulele. Jake, always the enthusiast, would jump in with his keyboard, excited to contribute whatever sounds he could muster. On one particular evening, the house was alive with energy. Friends had gathered, filling the space with warmth and chatter, the smell of homemade chili wafting through the air. The metronome sat prominently on the coffee table, its polished wood gleaming under the soft light of the lamp. Ben could feel the anticipation building as they prepared for the night's festivities. "All right, everyone," Ben called out, raising his guitar as attention turned to him. "Welcome to another night of music and fun. Tonight, let's honor the spirit of the musician who once lived here. We'll take turns sharing a song that means something to us, and then we'll all play together." The group cheered, excited by the idea. They began to take turns sharing their favorite songs, each one choosing a piece that held personal significance. As the music flowed, Ben marveled at the diverse talents that filled the room. Each person brought their own unique flavor to the evening, and together they created a beautiful tapestry of sound. As they played, Ben noticed how engaged the kids were, watching their parents and friends play with wide eyes. They were absorbing the magic of music, the way it connected people and transcended boundaries. The room pulsed with energy, laughter mingling with melodies, and Ben felt a deep sense of gratitude wash over him. After several rounds of songs, it was Jake's turn. "I want to play something I wrote," he announced proudly. The room fell silent, and all eyes turned to him, filled with anticipation. "Are you sure, buddy?" Ben asked, a mix of pride and concern fluttering in his chest. Jake nodded, determination etched on his little face. He had been working on a song inspired by the metronome in their family gatherings. "I want everyone to play along with me on the last part," he said, grinning from ear to ear. With a deep breath, Jake began to play, his fingers dancing over the keys of his keyboard. The notes wove together effortlessly, a mixture of innocence and creativity. Ben felt his heart swell as he watched his son pour his heart into his music. When Jake reached the end of his piece, he looked up at the family and friends gathered around him, excitement evident in his eyes. "Now everyone join in," he urged, prompting them to follow his lead. With a few quick glances, they all picked up their instruments, the rhythm of the metronome guiding their tempo. The room erupted into a joyful cacophony, laughter and music intertwining as they followed Jake's lead. It was a moment of pure magic, a reminder that their family was a living, breathing entity, constantly changing and growing. As the song came to an end, the room erupted in applause, cheers, and laughter. Jake beamed with pride, his heart filled with joy from sharing his creation with the world. Ben felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment as he hugged his son tightly. "That was amazing, buddy. You really captured our spirit," Ben said, his voice thick with emotion. After the celebration settled, the group shifted into more relaxed conversations, sharing stories of past experiences and future hopes. The metronome continued to tick softly, its presence a constant reminder of the importance of time and connection. Linda leaned against Ben, her head resting on his shoulder, as they listened to the laughter of their children mingling with the voices of friends. Later that night, as the gathering began to wind down, Ben found himself lingering near the metronome, lost in thought. He realized how much had changed since that fateful night when he first unearthed it from the wall. The metronome had not only brought music back into their lives, but had also reignited the flame of family unity. He took a deep breath, reflecting on the journey they had all embarked upon together. It wasn't just about the music, it was about the stories they had uncovered, the connections they had forged, and the memories they had created. As the last guests departed, Ben helped Linda tidy up the kitchen. "You know," he began, glancing at the metronome, "I think we should keep the niche open. It feels right to honor the past while we live our lives fully in the present." Linda smiled, her eyes sparkling. "I agree. It's a part of our story now. And we can always add more to it, just like we've done with the music." "Speaking of which," Ben said, an idea forming in his mind, "what if we start documenting our family history, just like we did with the stories of the musicians? We could create a scrapbook or even a digital archive to preserve our memories, songs, and experiences." Linda's face lit up with excitement. "That sounds incredible. We could include photographs, letters, and even recordings of our music nights. It would be a beautiful way to capture our family's journey." The following weeks were filled with new energy. They gathered materials to create a scrapbook, collecting photos from their gatherings, snippets of conversations, and handwritten notes about the songs they'd played. Ben even suggested that they record some of their music nights, capturing the laughter and melodies that filled the air. One Saturday afternoon, as they flipped through old photo albums, Linda stumbled upon an old snapshot of Ben as a child, sitting on the porch with his guitar. "Look at this," she exclaimed, holding the photo up for everyone to see. "You've been playing for a long time." Ben chuckled, his heart warming at the memory. "Yeah, I remember that day. I wanted to impress my neighbors and I was so nervous." "That's the spirit we need to embrace," Linda said. "We should all be willing to put ourselves out there and create music together, just like you did that day." With each new page added to the scrapbook, the family felt an overwhelming sense of connection to one another and to the stories they were preserving. They began to incorporate their own stories into the narrative of the musicians who had lived in their home, creating a rich tapestry of history that honored both the past and the present. As summer rolled in, the air thick with the scent of blooming flowers, Ben's thoughts drifted back to the musician who had played the metronome. He decided to dig deeper into the history of the community, wanting to learn more about the lives of those who had come before. One Saturday morning, he took it upon himself to visit the local library, seeking out old newspaper articles and records that might shed light on the musician's life. The library was a treasure trove of history, filled with the whispers of stories waiting to be uncovered. After hours of searching through dusty archives, Ben stumbled upon a newspaper clipping that caught his eye. It was an article about a concert held decades ago, featuring the very musician who had lived in their home. The article described how the musician had dedicated his performance to the neighborhood children, sharing his love of music and inspiring a sense of community. Excited to learn more, Ben took the article home and shared it with Linda and the kids. They read through the details together, captivated by the stories of the past. "Look at this," Sarah exclaimed, pointing to a photograph accompanying the article. "That's the old park we play in. I can't believe it looks so different now. It's amazing to think that this musician had such a profound impact on our community," Ben said, his heart swelling with gratitude. "What if we could honor him somehow?" Jake suggested, his eyes bright with inspiration. "Maybe we could have a concert in the park and invite everyone." Ben felt a rush of excitement at the idea. "That's a wonderful thought, Jake. We could organize a neighborhood concert inviting everyone to come and play music together. It would be a great way to celebrate our community and the legacy of the musician." As they started planning, the family rallied around the idea, brainstorming ways to make the concert a reality. They reached out to neighbors, sharing the details and inviting them to join in. The response was overwhelming. People were eager to participate, excited to celebrate music and community together. Over the next few weeks, they worked tirelessly to organize the event. Ben and Linda coordinated with local musicians, securing a few performers who were thrilled to join in the celebration. The kids helped design flyers, spreading the word throughout the neighborhood. Finally, the day of the concert arrived, and the park buzzed with anticipation. Colorful banners adorned the trees and families gathered on picnic blankets, excited to soak in the atmosphere. Ben felt a sense of pride swell within him as he looked around at the smiling faces, all there to celebrate the power of music and community. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the park, Ben took to the makeshift stage with his guitar in hand. The crowd erupted into cheers and he felt a wave of warmth wash over him. The metronome, which he had decided to bring along, sat proudly on the edge of the stage, a symbol of the journey that had brought them all together. "Welcome, everyone," Ben called out, his voice ringing through the air. "Thank you for coming together to celebrate music and community today. This concert is a tribute to the musicians who have inspired us and the stories that have shaped our lives." With that, he strummed the first chords of a song that had become a family favorite. The crowd joined in, laughter and music intertwining in the evening air. Throughout the concert, families took turns performing, showcasing their talents and sharing their love for music. The metronome ticked steadily, guiding them through the rhythms of the evening. Ben looked out at the sea of smiling faces, each person contributing to the celebration in their own special way. As the sun set and the stars began to twinkle overhead, the concert took on a magical quality. The sounds of laughter and music echoed through the park, filling the night with joy. Ben felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him, knowing that they had created something beautiful, a celebration of connection, a tribute to the past, and an embrace of the present. As the final song came to an end, Ben felt a sense of deep gratitude. This concert was more than just a gathering. It was a testament to the power of community, the beauty of shared experiences, and the legacy of those who had come before. In that moment, surrounded by friends and family, he closed his eyes and listened to the rhythm of the night, the laughter, the applause, the heartbeats of those around him. The metronome's steady ticking echoed in his mind, a reminder that life was a melody waiting to be played, a song waiting to be sung. As they packed up the instruments and said their goodbyes, Ben felt a renewed sense of purpose. The metronome had guided them on this incredible journey, connecting them to the past while enriching their present. Walking home under the starlit sky, he looked at Linda and the kids, a smile on his face. "Tonight was amazing. I can't believe how far we've come." Linda took his hand, squeezing it gently. "All thanks to you, Ben. You opened up this world for us. You made us see how important it is to embrace our history while living fully in the moment." Ben nodded, feeling the weight of her words. It's a reminder of what truly matters, the connections we make and the stories we share. As they arrived home, Ben placed the metronome back on the table, its presence a comforting reminder of the journey they had embarked upon together. The niche remained open, a doorway to the past, a testament to their family's history, and a promise for the future. In the coming days, as they settled back into their routines, Ben made a point to continue fostering that spirit of connection. He encouraged the kids to share their dreams and aspirations, to explore their creativity, and to embrace the rhythm of their own lives. They spent evenings creating music, laughter filling the air as they played together, each note a reminder of the love that bound them. The metronome became a cherished part of their family rituals, a constant heartbeat guiding them as they navigated the ups and downs of life. As the seasons continued to change, the family found themselves growing closer, united by their shared experiences and memories. They documented their journey in the scrapbook, adding new pages filled with laughter, love, and lessons learned. The stories of the musician who had once lived in their home intertwined with their own, creating a rich tapestry that honored both the past and the present. In time, Ben realized that the metronome was more than just an object. It was a symbol of connection, a reminder to savor each moment and cherish the memories they created together. It had brought their family back to its roots, helping them embrace the tempo of life with open hearts. And as Ben looked at the open niche, he felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey that had led them here. The metronome had opened a door to the past, inviting them to listen, learn, and celebrate together. As the autumn leaves began to blanket Toledo in hues of orange and gold, Ben felt the weight of the coming season settle over the family home. The metronome, still perched in its niche, had become a beloved part of their daily lives. Its steady tick-tock filled their evenings with a comforting rhythm, reminding them of the bonds they had created and the memories they had made. One chilly evening, as the family gathered around the table for dinner, the glow of the candles flickering in the soft light, Ben decided it was time to share something he had been thinking about for quite a while. He watched as Linda served the kids their favorite meal, spaghetti with homemade sauce, fragrant with herbs and garlic. The warmth of the food, coupled with the laughter that filled the room, created an atmosphere of happiness that he wanted to cherish. "Hey everyone," Ben began, breaking the comfortable chatter. "I've been thinking about our next family project." The kids looked up. Forks paused mid-air. Their curiosity piqued. Linda raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" Ben leaned forward, his excitement bubbling over. "I want us to create a song together, something that captures our family's journey. We can blend our favorite styles, use the metronome to guide us, and share the story of how we've grown together." Jake, eyes wide with enthusiasm, exclaimed, "Can we really do that, Dad? Write our own song?" "Of course," Ben replied, smiling at his son's eagerness. "This will be our song, a melody that tells our story. We can include everything we've experienced, the gatherings, the concerts, and all the fun we've had." Sarah jumped in, her creativity bursting forth. "We should write about the metronome too. It's been with us since the beginning." "That's a great idea, Sarah," Ben said, proud of how his daughter was already thinking about the elements that had connected them. "Let's brainstorm some ideas and come up with lyrics that reflect everything we've done together." Throughout dinner, the family bounced ideas off each other, sharing memories and moments that had shaped their journey. They laughed about the first music night when Jake had played his song, and the look of joy on his face. They reminisced about the concert in the park, the sense of community that had filled the air and the friendships that had blossomed through music. After dinner, they moved to the living room, excited to begin their songwriting adventure. The metronome sat proudly on the coffee table, ticking away as if encouraging them to find their rhythm. Ben grabbed his guitar, strumming a few chords to set the mood. "Okay, let's start with some themes. What do we want to say in our song?" Ben prompted, watching as his family gathered closer. "How about celebrating the love we share?" Linda suggested, her eyes sparkling. "And the fun times we've had," Sarah added, bouncing on her seat. "And how we always stick together no matter what," Jake chimed in, his passion evident. The ideas flowed freely as they brainstormed phrases and concepts. They jotted down lines on a notepad, a jumble of thoughts and emotions that began to take shape. Each family member contributed their own thoughts, weaving their individual experiences into a collective narrative. As they worked, Ben felt a deep sense of connection. The metronome's steady ticking served as a reminder of the importance of patience and rhythm in their lives, guiding them through the creative process. He strummed chords on his guitar, practicing melodies that could complement the lyrics they were creating. After hours of collaboration, they finally assembled a rough draft of their song. It told a story of love, laughter, and the power of music to bind them together. It captured their journey, the struggles they faced, the memories they cherished, and the lessons they learned along the way. "Let's practice it together," Linda suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. They gathered around, instruments in hand, as Ben began to play the opening chords. With each note, they felt a spark of excitement. They began to sing, blending their voices into a harmonious melody. The metronome's ticking set the pace, guiding them through the song as they stumbled over lyrics and corrected each other's mistakes. As they practiced, Ben felt a wave of emotion wash over him. This was more than just a song. It was a celebration of their journey, a testament to the love that had grown within their family. Each note resonated with memories, echoing the laughter and joy they had shared. After several rounds of practice, they finally reached a point where they felt comfortable with their creation. The song had taken on a life of its own, becoming a beautiful reflection of their experiences together. "That sounds amazing," Jake exclaimed, his face beaming with pride. "We did it," Sarah added, her voice filled with excitement. Ben looked at his family, his heart swelling with gratitude. "I'm so proud of each of you. This song embodies our journey and the love that we share." Over the next few weeks, they continued to practice, refining their lyrics and melody. They decided to record the song, wanting to preserve it for future generations. The metronome became a reliable guide, keeping their tempo steady as they laid down tracks. One crisp Saturday afternoon, they set up a small recording station in the living room. Jake and Sarah took the lead on vocals, with Ben accompanying them on guitar and Linda adding harmonies. The sound of their voices filled the room, the metronome ticking softly in the background, reminding them of the heartbeat of their family. As they recorded, laughter erupted between takes, with Jake cracking jokes and Sarah dancing around the room. The atmosphere was electric, a mixture of creativity and joy. The song began to take shape in a way that felt magical, capturing the essence of their family's spirit. When they finally finished recording, Ben felt a sense of accomplishment unlike any he had experienced before. They had created something beautiful together, a legacy that would live on in their hearts. Weeks later, they decided to host a small release party at home, inviting the neighbors and friends who had supported their journey. The day arrived with anticipation buzzing in the air. The house was adorned with festive decorations, and the smell of freshly baked treats filled the kitchen. As their guests arrived, Ben felt a rush of excitement. This was not just an opportunity to celebrate their song, it was a chance to bring the community together and share their love of music. After some mingling and laughter, Ben gathered everyone in the living room. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "We wanted to share something special with you, a song that we wrote as a family, inspired by our journey and the love we've built together." The crowd erupted in cheers, and Ben gestured to his family. They took their positions, instruments in hand, the metronome perched on the table, ready to guide them. As they began to play, Ben felt the energy in the room shift. The tick-tock of the metronome filled the air, providing a rhythm that connected them all. They sang their hearts out, pouring every bit of emotion into the performance. The lyrics resonated with their neighbors, many of whom had been a part of their journey. The room filled with applause and shouts of encouragement as they finished the song. Ben looked around at the smiling faces, his heart swelling with gratitude. This was the power of music, the ability to connect people, to bring them together in a shared experience. As the evening wore on, they celebrated with food, laughter, and stories. Neighbors shared their own memories, recounting how music had played an important role in their lives. It was a beautiful reminder of the connections that had formed through shared experiences. Later, as the night drew to a close, Ben found himself reflecting on the journey they had taken. The metronome had not only guided their creativity, but had also united them as a family. Each tick had served as a reminder of the importance of connection, of cherishing the moments that mattered most. As he tucked the kids into bed that night, he felt a deep sense of peace wash over him. The song they had created together was a testament to their love, a melody that would always remind them of the journey they had embarked upon as a family. In the days that followed, they kept the spirit of music alive, continuing to practice and create new songs together. The metronome remained a beloved part of their routine, a steady presence guiding them through laughter and creativity. Ben realized that their journey was not just about the music. It was about the connections they had fostered, the love they had shared, and the memories they had created together. The open niche in the wall, with the metronome at its center, became a symbol of everything they valued: family, music, and the stories that intertwined their lives. As the seasons changed and the world around them continued to move forward, Ben felt a renewed sense of purpose. He understood that their story was just beginning, a melody that would continue to evolve and grow, guided by the rhythm of life and the heartbeat of their home. As winter settled over Toledo, a blanket of snow covered the landscape, transforming the familiar into a winter wonderland. The sight of the white dusted trees outside the window stirred something deep within Ben. With the holidays fast approaching, the family was filled with excitement and anticipation. The metronome continued to tick steadily in the background, a comforting presence amidst the flurry of preparation. With December in full swing, the family found themselves immersed in the spirit of the season. The house was adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations, each ornament telling a story of its own. They had created a new tradition of decorating the tree together, playing Christmas music, and sipping hot cocoa while sharing stories of past holidays. One chilly evening, as they cozied up around the fireplace, Ben felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. This was more than just a holiday. It was a celebration of the love they had built as a family. The warmth of the fire crackled, mirroring the unbreakable bonds that had formed between them. "All right, family," Ben announced, a mischievous glint in his eye. "I think it's time we write a holiday song." The kids' faces lit up with enthusiasm. "Yes, a Christmas song," Jake shouted, his excitement palpable. Linda smiled, her eyes twinkling. "What a wonderful idea, Ben. This could be our first family holiday song." As the evening unfolded, they gathered around the table, brainstorming ideas for their holiday melody. They reminisced about their favorite Christmas memories, building snowmen, sledding down hills, and the warmth of family gatherings. The metronome sat beside them, its rhythmic ticking like a heartbeat, guiding their creativity. "Let's write about the joy of being together," Sarah suggested, her voice filled with inspiration. "And how we make each other feel loved. And we can include our decorations in the magic of Christmas," Jake added, his imagination running wild. With ideas flowing, the family began to craft lyrics, weaving together their memories and hopes. Each line they wrote was filled with warmth, capturing the essence of their love for one another and the joy of the season. As they refined their lyrics, Ben picked up his guitar and started strumming a gentle melody. The sound filled the room, and soon the kids joined in, their voices blending harmoniously as they sang together. Laughter erupted when they stumbled over a verse or tried to harmonize, but each misstep only brought them closer. After hours of collaborative creation, they finally had a complete song. It was a beautiful reflection of their family's love, celebrating the magic of the holidays and the warmth of home. They decided to perform it at their holiday gathering, inviting friends and neighbors to join in the festivities. The day of the party arrived, and the warmth of the house radiated out into the frosty air. Ben and Linda worked together to prepare a feast, the savory scents of roasted turkey, stuffing, and pies wafting through the home. Meanwhile, the kids set up decorations and arranged the instruments for the performance. As twilight fell and the soft glow of the holiday lights illuminated the living room, guests began to arrive. Laughter and chatter filled the air, creating an atmosphere of joy and celebration. Friends and neighbors mingled, sharing stories and enjoying the delicious spread that Ben and Linda had prepared. When it was finally time for their performance, Ben felt a flutter of nerves mixed with excitement. The family gathered on the makeshift stage in the living room, the metronome sitting proudly at the center. "Thank you all for being here with us tonight," Ben began, his voice steady despite the anticipation. "We wanted to share a song that we wrote as a family, celebrating the love and joy of the season." With that, they began to play, the metronome's steady ticking guiding their rhythm. As they sang their original holiday song, the room filled with warmth and laughter. The lyrics resonated with the audience, and the joy of the moment wrapped around them like a cozy blanket. As the final notes faded, the room erupted into applause and cheers. Ben looked out at the smiling faces, friends, neighbors, and family, each one a part of their journey. The love and support they shared created a palpable energy, reinforcing the bonds that had grown stronger over time. After their performance, the gathering transformed into a celebration of togetherness. People shared holiday traditions, exchanged gifts, and created new memories that would last a lifetime. The metronome continued to tick softly in the background, a steady reminder of the importance of connection and the heartbeat of their family. As the night wore on, Ben felt a sense of culmination. This holiday gathering encapsulated everything they had worked toward: the love, the music, and the cherished relationships that had blossomed in their home. The metronome had become a central figure in their lives, guiding them through the highs and lows, the laughter and the struggles. Later, as the last guest departed and the house fell into a peaceful silence, Ben and Linda sat together on the couch, reflecting on the night. The warmth of the fire crackled softly as they held hands, a quiet moment amidst the holiday chaos. "It was perfect," Linda said, her voice filled with contentment. "I can't believe how far we've come since we found the metronome." Ben nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "It's incredible, isn't it? It's like it opened a door to so much more than just music. It brought us together in ways I never imagined." As they sat in the soft glow of the fire, Ben felt a sense of peace wash over him. The journey they had taken as a family was a testament to the power of connection, the importance of love, and the joy of shared experiences. With the new year approaching, Ben found himself looking ahead, excited about what the future held. The metronome would continue to guide them, reminding them of the rhythm of life and the importance of cherishing every moment together. In the days that followed, they kept the spirit of the holidays alive, continuing their musical traditions and playing together as a family. The scrapbook they had created, filled with memories, songs, and stories, became a cherished keepsake, a reflection of their journey. As winter melted into spring, Ben found himself filled with hope and gratitude. The metronome, now a symbol of their family's legacy, continued to tick steadily, a reminder of the love that had grown within their home. Ben realized that their story was far from over. It was a melody that would continue to evolve, shaped by the experiences they would share and the love that would guide them. With each passing day, he felt a renewed sense of purpose, embracing the rhythm of life and the heartbeat of their family. And as he looked at the metronome, its presence a constant reminder of their journey, he knew that together they would face whatever came next, united by the love that had brought them here. The future was bright, and he felt ready to embrace it, one note at a time. As the snow continued to blanket Toledo, the promise of a new year hung in the air. Ben stood at the window, sipping his coffee as he watched the flakes swirl gently to the ground, each one unique, yet part of a greater whole. The house felt alive with warmth and laughter, a stark contrast to the wintry landscape outside. The metronome continued to tick steadily on the table, its presence a constant reminder of the journey they had undertaken as a family. With the holiday festivities behind them, the family settled into a comforting routine. Ben and Linda took turns planning family evenings, leaning into the creativity and joy that had blossomed in their home since discovering the metronome. Music filled the air almost every night, echoing with laughter and the occasional misstep as they continued to refine their holiday song. One evening, as they gathered around the table to share dinner, the conversation turned to the new year ahead. "What are some of your resolutions?" Linda asked, looking around at her family, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "I want to write more songs," Jake declared, his enthusiasm evident. "I want to be just like Dad." Ben felt a swell of pride at his son's words. "That's a great goal, buddy. We can set aside time each week to write together." "I want to learn how to play the piano better," Sarah added, her determination shining through. "I want to play the songs we write as a family." Linda smiled, her heart full. "Those are wonderful resolutions. How about we make a family resolution to spend more time making music together?" Ben nodded in agreement. "Absolutely. We can even set a specific day each week for our family music night. We can invite friends too, making it a bigger celebration of our creativity." As they shared their resolutions, Ben felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Each goal expressed was a reflection of their journey together, a testament to the love that had grown within their family. It was a reminder that they were not only nurturing their musical talents, but also deepening their connections. After dinner, they moved to the living room where the metronome ticked softly in the background. Ben picked up his guitar and they began to play, blending their voices into a harmonious melody. The sound filled the room, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Each note resonated with the joy of being together, the rhythm of their lives pulsing in sync with the metronome. As the weeks went by, the family music nights became a treasured part of their routine. They wrote new songs, experimented with different styles, and invited friends to join in the fun. The metronome, once hidden away in a wall, now took center stage, guiding them through their musical journey. As spring approached and the snow began to melt, Ben felt a growing sense of excitement. The world outside was awakening, and so was their family. One sunny afternoon, as the first signs of spring appeared in the garden, he turned to Linda. "What do you think about organizing a community music festival this summer?" he asked, his voice filled with enthusiasm. Linda's eyes lit up at the idea. "That sounds amazing. We could invite local musicians, have food stalls, and create a space for people to come together and celebrate music." Ben nodded eagerly. "We can use the metronome as a symbol of the festival, the heartbeat of our community. It represents unity, creativity, and the importance of connection." Once again, the family rallied around the idea, excited by the prospect of bringing the community together through music. They began planning, enlisting the help of friends and neighbors who were eager to participate. The festival quickly took shape, with Ben and Linda coordinating musicians, food vendors, and activities for families. As the date of the festival approached, the anticipation grew. The entire family was involved in the preparations, and the metronome became a focal point of their efforts. They created a banner emblazoned with its image, symbolizing the rhythm that would guide the day. Finally, the day of the festival arrived, and the park was alive with excitement. Colorful tents adorned the grounds, and the air buzzed with laughter and music. Ben stood at the entrance, welcoming guests with an enthusiastic smile, his heart racing with anticipation. "Welcome to our first annual Community Music Festival," he announced. "Today we celebrate the power of music to connect us all. Let's make this a day to remember." As the festival unfolded, Ben watched in awe as the community came together. Friends and neighbors mingled, sharing stories and laughter. Local musicians performed on the main stage, their melodies filling the air. The metronome, which they had positioned prominently, ticked steadily, echoing the heartbeat of the day. The family took turns performing, showcasing their original songs and inviting friends to join in. Each note they played seemed to resonate with the crowd, binding them together in a shared experience of joy and creativity. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden hue over the park, Ben felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. This festival was a culmination of everything their family had built together, a celebration of love, music, and community. Later that evening, as they sat together under the stars, Ben looked around at his family and friends, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The metronome ticked softly beside them, a steady reminder of the journey they had all embarked upon. "This has been incredible," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Thank you all for being part of this. Each of you has played a role in our story, and I'm grateful for the connections we've forged together." As the stars twinkled overhead, Ben knew that their journey was far from over. The metronome would continue to guide them, reminding them of the importance of cherishing each moment and the love that had brought them here. With a heart full of gratitude, he understood that music was not just a collection of notes. It was a living, breathing entity that connected souls and created memories. As they embraced the rhythm of life together, he felt a renewed sense of purpose, a commitment to nurture their family, their community, and the legacy of love that would carry on through their music for generations to come. As the festival came to a close, the night sky twinkled with stars, each one a reminder of the connections forged under the canopy of music and laughter. Ben and his family stood together, hand in hand, soaking in the joy of the day. The air was filled with the remnants of song, echoing like a heartbeat against the quiet of the night. "Did you see everyone dancing?" Jake exclaimed, his face aglow with excitement. "It was so much fun." Sarah nodded enthusiastically. "I loved when we all sang together. It felt like we were one big family." Linda smiled, her heart swelling with pride as she looked at her children. This is what it's all about. A community coming together to share joy and creativity. Ben took a moment to let their words sink in. "You've all worked so hard to make this day happen, and I couldn't be prouder of our family. This is just the beginning. Our music has the power to bring people together, to inspire, and to create lasting memories." As they wandered through the park, cleaning up remnants of the festival, Ben reflected on the incredible journey they had taken together, from discovering the metronome to hosting their first community festival. It was a testament to what could happen when love, creativity, and connection intertwined. Later that night, as they settled back into the warmth of their home, the family gathered in the living room. The metronome sat prominently on the table, its steady ticking a soothing backdrop to the evening's reflections. "Let's make sure this becomes an annual tradition," Ben suggested, looking around at his family. "I want to keep this spirit alive and continue to share our music with others." "Definitely," Sarah replied, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "And next time we can invite even more people," Jake added. "Imagine how big it'll be." Linda smiled, her heart full. "I love that idea, and we can plan even more activities and performances. This festival brought our community closer, and I believe we can make it even better." As they talked about their plans for the future, Ben felt a profound sense of purpose. He realized that their journey was not just about music, but about building a legacy rooted in love and connection. They were creating a tapestry woven with memories, laughter, and shared experiences that would carry on for generations. As the evening wrapped up, Ben took a moment to reflect on everything that had brought them to this point. The family had grown together in ways he could have never imagined, each note played, each song sung, deepening their bond. Sitting together, he turned to the kids and said, "So, what do you think we should name our festival next year? Something that truly represents what we've built together." Jake grinned mischievously. "How about the Heartbeat Festival, since the metronome has been our heartbeat?" "That's perfect," Sarah exclaimed. "It reflects how music connects us all." Ben nodded in agreement, feeling a surge of excitement. "Heartbeat Festival it is. Let's make it something special each year." As they all agreed on their plans, the metronome continued to tick softly in the background, a soothing reminder of the rhythm of their lives together. They knew they had created something beautiful, a tradition that would echo through time, binding their family and community in a shared celebration of love and music. As they turned off the lights and prepared for bed, Ben felt a warmth in his heart. This journey was just beginning, and he embraced the unknown with open arms, ready to see where the music would lead them next. In the quiet of the night, as the snow continued to fall outside, he fell asleep, knowing that they would continue to write their story, one note at a time.